Good morning, friends. How are you doing this fabulous morning? Good to see you here. If you're joining me live for the very first time, thanks so much for being here. My name is Renee Harden. I'm an editor, I'm a content writer. I am a coach, an educator. I help writers learn how to tell their stories, craft their stories in whatever form they want, and share their stories with folks. So thanks for being here. This is a little segment that I do where you get to join me in my office and have some coffee. So if you're here joining me live, please pop in and say hello. If you're watching this via the replay, also pop in on the comments section. Let me know that you stopped by and shared a little bit of time with me on this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm going to let the live stream let everybody know. I'm going to post a couple of places. Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing, my friend? Great to have you here. Thanks so much. Are you enjoying the soundtracks content? Isn't it fabulous? I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. So awesome. Good morning, my bear. How you doing? Sweet girl. I had a wonderful time getting to spend a week in Nashville, visiting friends, visiting my daughter, and we went to a really fabulous coffee shop. My daughter's been trying to tell me a little bit about this new place that she found where she goes other than Starbucks. Yes, alas. But there are some great local coffee shops out there. So today's mug of the day is from, let me see if you can see it, the Bella Vista Coffee Shop. They have some really great handcrafted drinks and they have some really tasty panini sandwiches. Oh, you'll have to look them up. Bella Vista Coffee Shop in Smyrna, Tennessee. So it quickly became our favorite. I was mobile ordering drinks there every morning when I was in Tennessee. I would just mobile order them and take them over to the house. My daughter was like, oh, look, here's another iced latte from me. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning. Another Soundtracks fellow classmate. How you doing, Kelly? Great to have you here, my dear. Wonderful to see everybody. So I love that folks are, you'll have to check it out. It's really awesome. So shout out to all the great little coffee shops. And I love this little mug. Look at here. Isn't it cute? Love this little mug. I love the ones that look like stoneware. Really solid mug. So catch me up on what's been going on with you. How was your past week? What were the dates here? Let's check out the calendar, shall we? Today is the 27th. So we're talking about everything from Monday, the 22nd, all the way up to here. So Monday morning, bright and early, Michael and I hit the road in Tennessee. We made the drive to Dallas together. And we got home here in Dallas just before, 30 minutes before the storms hit here. And of course, those storms have been making their way across the country. And I believe in Tennessee, it's storming there now. You love it too. You need to go get one. And you know what we missed while we were there, Savannah? The empanadas. We did not do the empanadas on the weekend. I got to tell you though, my daughter and I, we worked in my house there in Tennessee. So here's what's been going on there. The reason why I went to Tennessee, and you guys have noticed, I've been going to Tennessee quite a bit, but I'm still excavating myself out of my house there. I've been married now to Michael almost 4 years. We will celebrate our 4th wedding anniversary in May. And I still have stuff in the Tennessee house. So I went to Tennessee. We cleaned the storage unit out last trip. Remember when I shared about having a storage unit for 14 years? That's a whole different story with a whole lot of math that we're not going to talk about right now. But we cleaned out that storage unit and we moved all the boxes to my house. And so, poor thing, the front formal living room, the what we call the front room, and then the living room, which is like the den, boxes all labeled and organized. We knew what they were, but just boxes of my things that Savannah really didn't want to tackle. And so we tackled together. But let me tell you, we crushed it. We set ourselves goals for the entire week of what we were going to do. And Savannah kept me on task. We went through the stuff after several loads to Goodwill and a couple of loads to the dump. The house is clean downstairs, like the whole downstairs. No more boxes. When she invites friends over, she does not have to have them avert their eyes to what looks like a U-Haul storage unit in the front room. So I'm going to sip and salute my girl for putting up with all of that for those months and helping me crush that goal last week. That was phenomenal. So I am going to I'm going to post the link to our broadcast on my personal profile because I didn't have time to do that this morning. So I'm going to do that so we can invite some more friends, have them come and see us, pop in and say good morning like we always do. And I love getting to see all the folks coming in. Yes, we did. We got it done. Sherry, you received your second Pfizer vaccine on Thursday. Ah, congratulations, my friend. I'm going in. I have to go in for a procedure on Monday. I'm going in for a colonoscopy. Y'all pray for me. I have to have colonoscopy on Monday, which means I have to do all the prep on Sunday, the Lord's Day. Really? But I also got to notice that, hey, if you're free today, can you come get the COVID vaccine? Don't know if that's a good idea for me to do before I get ready to have a procedure done. So darn it, I've got to re-register, but I'm really glad that they've opened up vaccination. So good for you, Sherry. I'm really glad you got that done. Now you can hang out with people, visit people, give them hugs, right? And guys, as we are getting these vaccines rolled out, is it perfect? Probably not. Are there going to be some stumbles and fumbles along the way? Sure, there will be. Um, those of us who remember the AIDS pandemic, it was quite a catastrophe, and we didn't have to get vaccinated for that. But as our leaders are trying to do their best with getting the vaccine out there, with getting people help, let's do our part to cooperate, right? Because we're thinking of each other while we do this. Um, your husband got on a tour bus for the first time in over a year. Shows are starting to come back. Yes. Well, Kelly, I'm so happy for you and I'm happy for him that he was able to get back out there. Yes, shows are starting, right? Smaller shows probably are the ones that are going to be happening now more because to try to have larger shows right now are still they're really having to feel that out and figure out how that's going to happen. So, yeah, but as we do all that we can to get ready, you know, all those things will come back. They'll probably come back a little different and in a different form, but that's okay, right? That's okay. So, do you guys remember that it's still Lent? In fact, next weekend is Easter Sunday, right? So, what are you doing for Easter? So what's gone on with you? Well, I will tell you that the I was in Nashville and Michael came to fly in with me Thursday to meet me there to hang out, to see the kids. We went to a wonderful Picasso exhibit at the First Museum, and then he helped me make the drive back. But before he left Dallas, he sent me this video clip. So I don't know about you guys and how your spring is starting off, but ours is starting off because we um we had ducks in our yard. They love our pool area. And I don't know if you guys can see this very well. Th- we had ducks going at it in our pool. He sent me this and he said, I can't unsee this. And if you watch the video, you'll notice how many ducks do you see? I mean, the poor female. He said, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. And after seeing it myself, I don't know how I feel about it either. So we have ducks. We have ducks, and we're probably now going to have ducklings because that was going on. So if you follow me on my socials, I posted this and I was like, oof, can't unsee this. Cannot unsee this. So I'll help you guys unsee it. I won't make you see it much longer. But yeah, so that's what happened. And we came. He came to Nashville, and he was like, "Did you see my video clip?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." So what that does mean is now we have um, we have eggs. We have a duck nest under the bushes on the side to the left of our fountain. We have a duck nest, and we have duck eggs. So that means in probably a few weeks, we're going to have baby ducklings, hopefully for Easter. Wouldn't that be great? So we have duck eggs. So I'll be keeping you posted on the update on how those little ducklings are doing. Once they're done, the problem is we have a kitty cat. You guys have seen Milo in the broadcast, and Milo has been very curious about what's going on out there. So I had to erect a fence with some chicken wire to protect the duck from from Milo being too curious and allowing her to still have the freedom to come in and out of our pool. Um, so we'll see. So we're monitoring that situation, and we will update you as the babies emerge. So, I'm gonna put the link. I keep saying I'm gonna put the link to the broadcast, and then I forget to put it. So I'm gonna post it on here real quickly so that folks can come join us. But Lent, yes, so much has been going on, and I'm so excited for those of you who are getting your vaccine. It's so important that we support our neighbors, our friends, the medical community who've been working tirelessly, not only through this pandemic year in treating patients, but the scientists and the researchers who have been working around the clock and working over this past year to figure out ways to develop, and for the companies, the pharmaceutical companies who have been developing these vaccines. Are they perfect? Who knows? But I would rather get vaccinated and at least be safe. So thanks to all of you who are doing that. And if you haven't yet, register with your state, check with your local areas, find out where the vaccines are being distributed, and try to get in line to get yours. Okay. So lots of interesting things that happened this week. A couple of things I was really excited about are two musical artists, two of some of my favorite musical artists who were added to the Library of Congress recordings registry. So Israel Kamaka Vivo Ole, for his compilation of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Beautiful World, that song was added to the registry. So, of course, people in Hawaii are very excited. But Iz's music is now a part of the permanent collection of the Library of Congress, where they have over 3 million recordings that have been made over the span of since our country was founded. The Library of Congress is a cache trove of books, films, um, music pieces, and so Iz's piece has been added. Also, Pat Metheny, jazz guitarist and virtuoso. I love his jazz music. He too had an entry added into the Library of Congress recordings registry. So to have their music added is quite an accomplishment, right? So we're going to sip and salute those guys for creating great music and for the Library of Congress for recognizing it such that they made it a part of the historical record. So, which brings me to our time when we talk about our ōlelo of the day. You know that I am a Hawaiian girl. I love to share a little bit of my Hawaiian culture with you each week and highlight words so that you can learn them and add them to your vocabulary, and also understand and learn the meanings of several words in the Hawaiian language. So it is time. Da, 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 da. I need to have a little musical bit or a little Hawaiian music bit to play during that for our ōlelo of the week. So your first ōlelo of the week, because we are coming to the end of the month of March. We are, and it's hard to remember. Next week still has 3 days in the month of March. the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. And then we start a new month, guys. Does it feel possible that we're already starting a brand new month? Right? So our new month is going to be the month of April. And so the way you say that in Hawaiian is apelila. Apelila is the word for April. Hard to believe it, guys, but we've made it already through the first quarter of 2021. I don't know about you, but even though we're in a pandemic, it still feels like we're just plowing along, right? Time's just marching on and we're moving forward. So we are in the month of April soon. And spring has definitely sprung. Here in Texas, the bluebonnets are blossoming. I don't know if it's where you are, if springtime is showing up, but down here in Texas, after the frigid week that we had back in February, our plants, our flowers, everything is blooming down here. It's getting warmer. We're starting to have storms. It throughout the 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 southeast part of the country and the southwestern part of the country. Storms are churning up. We're starting to see, and unfortunately, to the folks that were in Alabama and some parts of Georgia, they were hit with some really bad tornadoes. Nashville, Tennessee, while they did not suffer a tornado, East Nashville got hit again with some horrible strong winds from those thunderstorms that came through. I mean, East Nashville, bless you. You just can't catch a break. I'm going to sip and salute you now. So, to all those who are facing storm damage, all those who are still picking up the pieces from the spring storms, and we're not finished because we're just starting spring, unfortunately. So, um, hi, Darla. Good to see you, my friend. You were shocked that the flowers made it through the bug freeze. Well, and you said big, not bug. Well, I'll call it the bug freeze, my friend. I'm hoping that the freeze did kill off some of the bugs. I'm surprised that some of the plants made it. I covered some of our flowers with tarps. I didn't have enough tarps and plastic things to cover all of our bushes. In fact, the bush that the duck is under, we're not sure if the bush made it or not, but we're leaving it alone for now because that's where she's made her home, right? So I'm amazed that that's happening. And right now, in fact, even to my friends and loved ones in Tennessee, good morning, Andrea. How are you doing? Are you guys doing okay? I saw Savannah told me that there was some storm alerts there this morning. They've got some storms moving through Tennessee right now. So I'm just going to sip and pray for all of you guys there that you make it through those storms. So we are still in the spring season. The month of Apelila doesn't start till next week. But here we are. Spring has sprung and Easter is next weekend, guys. So Apelila, that is one of your words for this week. But also, did you know that today is the first day of Passover, the celebration, the Jewish holiday celebration, the week-long festival that happens to commemorate the Israelites leaving Egypt and when the angel of death passed over the Hebrew people during the 10th plague, right? So in Hawaiian, we actually have a phrase for that, and it's aha'aina mo liaola. Aha'aina mo liaola. You know, with the diacritical mark over the O, that means you spend a little longer. It's not a short vowel. It's a longer vowel sound. So we have aha'aina mo liaola. That means feast of the Passover. The word aha at the beginning and aina actually means company. So aha, company. Aina means to eat, to gather. And mo liaola is the word for Passover. They also have another word for it. It's pakwa. You can hear phonetically how that sounds like Passover. But it's the feast of Passover. And so for this next week, our Jewish friends are going to be celebrating the Passover, having Passover Seders. So that starts tonight at sundown and goes all the way to Easter Sunday on April the 4th. So one of my favorite movies of all time that shows this scene so beautifully, is, of course, the Ten Commandments, and I don't know about you guys, but, I was amazed to find out that the Ten Commandments is 65 years old. 65 years old. And, I'm gonna look this up real quick because I'm really excited about this. So, how many of you love to go see movies? How many of you have actually been in a movie theater at all? Michael and I have been able to go to a couple of movies during the pandemic, and honestly, we've sometimes been the only people in the movie theater, which has been really fantastic. But, as we are getting vaccinated, as we are able to get out and go do things again, well, the Ten Commandments is going to be shown on the big screen for just a limited amount of time. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Fathom Events, but Fathom Events tends to have screenings of movies. Um, Here we go. I'm going to share this with you so you can see it. I'll put it up here in the on the screen here. But Fathom Events, they do screenings of classic movies and put them up on the big screen again. So I'm super excited about this because we bought tickets for Wednesday. So there's tickets for tomorrow, tickets for Wednesday, and then tickets for Sunday, April the 4th, Easter Sunday. And so, of course, this is one of the epic movies. I love the description. It says, "Throughout film history, Hollywood has produced a number of sweeping epics and generation-defining movies. However, one biblical saga, Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments, has withstood the test of time. The 1956 film is universally acknowledged among critics as a cinematic masterpiece with a legendary cast." And so they're showing it. They are showing it on the big screen. So Michael and I are gonna go next week on Wednesday. I can't wait to see it up on a big screen, and if you get a chance to see it, I highly recommend it. I love the scene where they are preparing for the Passover where, "Must you let my people go?" I mean, no one could deliver that line like Charlton Heston did. And the visual representation of what it was like for the angel of death to come through, for the Passover to be instituted and celebrated, a reminder of the sacrifice of the lives lost in Egypt, but also a foreshadowing to the sacrifice that Christ would make on our behalf so that that death passes over us. And even though we may die in our physical body, the trappings of death and the finality of death was removed forever. And so if there's ever a time to see the Ten Commandments on big screen, it's this coming week. So if you have a chance to do that, I highly recommend go see it. Um, it is storming big time there, Andrea. Well, goodness, I am so glad you all are on screen here with me sharing coffee. I'm just going to pray y'all through that. It is a classic, Sherry. That and Cleopatra. And I love that Fathom Events does this. So what you do is you go to the website and you put in your zip code, as you can see right there. And then it will let you know. So I put in my zip code and it let me know what movie theaters we, uh, we're playing the movie. So I recommend that you get on there if you want, put your zip code in, see if the movie is playing at a theater near you. Now, it's a 4-hour long movie. It's 3 hours and 55 minutes, right? When we watch it at home, we have the beauty to pause it, get up and go to the restroom, do whatever. This time, I know I'm going to have to get up at some point. I'm hoping that if they do it the way they used to do it in the movie theaters, that there will be an intermission. If they do it that way, that's going to be fantastic. Remember the days where we used to go to movies and then you'd have an intermission where you would get up and go get your snacks and have a bathroom break, then come back and then the movie would start back up? Loved those days. So check it out. Check out going to see the Ten Commandments. I think that's going to be a fabulous show. Again, getting to see it on a big screen the way it was originally done, there's something powerful about that. And I love that they always play this movie over the Easter weekend as a way for us to remember the sacrifices and the change, right? The transitions, because Lord knows Being in this pandemic feels like we've been trapped in Egypt. I gotta tell you, right? So we also, speaking of Hollywood, we lost some legendary greats this week. It just made me sad. It always makes me sad when we lose great people and great um, great folks who are. And I'm lining everything up here, guys, so I can share this with you. I know you probably know some of these people, or have seen them, or have been a fan of their work. Um, and we also lost a literary great this week, which was really tough. Um, all right, I think I've got all the pictures lined up here now to share with you. So, really excited about that. All right. So, well, the first person that we lost earlier this week was the actor George Segal. George Segal passed away on Tuesday at the age of 87. He became popular in the 60s and 70s, playing both dramatic and comedic roles. Most people know him recently as Pops. If you ever watched the show The Goldbergs, he was Pops. He was the grandfather. So he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in the film Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, two other legendary Hollywood greats. Um, he was also, speaking of the Jewish people, he was also one of the first American film actors to rise to leading man status without changing his Jewish surname. So he helped pave the way for other major actors of his generation to do the same and not fear a backlash of racial bias. So, yes, he did play Albert Pop Solomon on the Goldbergs, and we salute you, George. We thank you for your catalog of work. We thank you for the stories that you told in film and in TV to help us laugh, also to make us think. So our hearts and our thoughts go out to the Seagulls and their family. Um, so Oh, Sherry, here you can rent an entire theater for $99 for up to 20 people, movie of your choice pandemic special. You know, I think that's a really clever and thoughtful thing for theaters to do. I think they've really had to rethink their business model and think about ways that they can do that. I think doing that for field trips for kids is a great idea. Having them get together, watch a movie, discuss it, right? So to rent it for $99, I think that's a fantastic idea. I love that. So another great one that we lost this week, we lost two great ladies on Thursday. And the first one was actress Jessica Walter. She passed away at the age of 80. And not only was she an American actress, but she was also a voiceover talent. She appeared in over 170 film, television, and stage productions. She was best known as Lucille Bluth on Arrested Development. For all our Arrested Development fans out there, ah, a sip and salute to Lucille. And she also provided the voice of Mallory Archer on the longtime running FX animated series Archer. She was a two-time Golden Globe nominee and a Primetime Emmy Award recipient. Um, so many great episodes of her. I loved her on Arrested Development. She was great. But also other great classic films. She was in Play Misty for me with Clint Eastwood. You know, she's done a great catalog of work, right? So these actors and actresses who tell stories and who are involved in telling great stories on screen and on television. So hearts go out to Jessica Walter's family as they are grieving her loss and as Hollywood grieves her loss. So literature also lost a great, and I got to tell you, this one, when I heard about it, oh, because one, I loved her face because who couldn't love this face? Right? She looks like a grandmother. She is a grandmother. Her, Betty White, all the greats of that generation. Well, this is Beverly Cleary. Beverly Cleary was an American children's author, young adult fiction. She is one of America's most successful authors. 91 million copies of her books have been sold worldwide since her first book was published in 1950. Some of her best known characters are Ramona Quimby and Beezus Quimby of Ramona and Beezus, Henry Huggins and his dog Ribsy, and Ralph Mouse. And so Beverly Cleary, she passed away at the age of 104. 104. That is quite an accomplishment. I mean, imagine. Oh, I know. Isn't she adorable? Honey, Honey in Brazil. Oh my goodness. I know you and your wife have been battling COVID. You are COVID free. Oh, that is such great news, Honey. I know there's been so much going on in Brazil with the pandemic going out of control. We are so glad to have you here. Yes, we did lose some very talented people this week, Sherry. Very talented people. You loved her books. Right. Oh, her books were great. Your wife is still in hospital under treatment. Okay, we will continue to pray for you guys. I got back in town at the beginning of this week, honey, and I've been working so hard to catch up on emails and messages from folks. So thank you so much for letting me know you are okay. We will continue prayers for your wife. So glad to have you here. Thanks so much for being here. Uh, Oh, listen, we are. In fact, my husband is getting his first vaccine today. I'm hoping to get mine. They tried to schedule me today, but I have a procedure on Monday morning, so I didn't want to sort of jinx it trying to get, but my husband is getting his first vaccination today. So we're excited about that. But so glad to hear that you are doing well, and I hope your wife gets out of the hospital really soon. She's been in for quite a while. So we're thinking of you guys this morning. Myra, okay, Myra, definitely will do that. We will be thinking of her and praying for her. So we lost Miss Beverly Cleary. Um, so the majority of her books were set in Grant Park, which is an area northeast of Portland where she was raised. And she's been credited as one of the first authors of children's literature to use emotional realism in her narratives of her characters, who were often children in middle-class families. So emotional realism is a type, a literary device where you are able to relate to the characters and understand and feel what they're going through in their lives, with their friends, with their family, with their dog Ribsy. So her first children's book was Henry Huggins after a question from a kid when Cleary was a librarian. And she won the 1981 National Book Award for Ramona and Her Mother and the 1984 Newbery Medal for Dear Mr. Henshaw. For her lifetime contributions to American literature, she received the National Medal of Arts, a recognition as a Library of Congress living legend, and the Laura Ingalls Wilder Medal from the Association for Library Services to Children. Even the Beverly Cleary School, which is a public school in Portland, was named after her, and there are several statues of her most famous characters that are erected in Grant Park. That took place in 1995. So if you live in the Portland area, if you are familiar with the Grant Park area, or if you ever go there, check out Grant Park and you can see some of Beverly Cleary's fabulous literary characters in form there. So Beverly Cleary. We lost a great one, a great one. So, talking about books that we like to share, I'm truly excited about the books that I have to share with you because I'm going to be featuring this book in April as part of my book club in my VIP group. I think this book has been life-changing for me. I think it's gonna be life-changing for a lot of people. I know it's going to be life-changing for a lot of people because I've seen it. I've been involved with the book launch. But, one book that I want to share with you this morning, talking about stories. Sometimes we have stories that we love. Sometimes we have stories that we can't wait to share with people, right? So much so that we even will post it on social media. We want folks to know. I mean, that's why I shared about our ducks. People are now emotionally invested in our ducks in our backyard, and we are too. When we moved here last year, The ducklings had already hatched, and so we were just trying to figure out how to keep them out of the pool, keep them out of the hot tub. We have no idea how the duck got the babies out. We don't even know if the babies survived. We know she had about 10 to begin with, then we only saw 2. So we don't know what happened to them. I'm hoping this time that we can get the mother and the ducklings, moved safely. So that's our goal. But I love sharing those stories, and that's what social media is about sharing parts of our stories with the people that we love and care about the most, right? People that we are in connection with. So, um, good morning, Rachel. Hi, my sweet dear. Thanks for being here. So great to have you again. Hone, your wife has been in the hospital nearly 30 days. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, we will keep her up. See, sometimes, like Hone, we have stories that are hard to tell. Stories about loved ones battling COVID. Um, Stories of loved ones being lost, just like these Hollywood greats and Beverly Cleary. But we also know that our stories have a finite time here on this earth. And as these greats have done before us who have passed, they've shared their stories in the forms and varieties and ways that they felt the most talented, the most competent, something that they had a great passion about, and they told their stories so well. But what do you do when you don't like your story? What happens when you have a story that you don't want to tell? I know I had moments in my life where I didn't want to share my story. In fact, there's parts of my life that are hard to talk about even now. Parts of my story that I didn't ever talk about until I got older because it was too hard to bear them. So, what do you do? Where do you go? And more importantly, how do you handle it when you don't like your story? Well, I've got a book about that. I've got a book to share with you. And I think it will be really helpful if you're having a situation where you're going through a season that you don't really like it. With the pandemic, maybe your job changed. Um, Maybe things happened that you thought were unfair, or you don't even want people to know about. What do you do when you don't like your story? Well, Sharon Janes has written a book just exactly about that. Many people don't like the story that God is writing in their lives. The mistakes, the failures, the tragedies, and circumstances outside of our control linger in our minds and hold us back. So, how do we come to grips with the pieces of our stories that we wish weren't there? How do we silence the pain of what has been done to us and the shame of what we've allowed to be done through us? Well, Sharon Janes is part of the Proverb 31 writing group. She is also the founder of Girlfriends of God. And she has written a book to show us how God will untangle those painful emotional moments in our life with grace and putting his redemption on display. I think that's such a fabulous theme, especially with Easter coming. That's what we know Easter to be about, the season of Lent, the season of time where the 40 days where we know that Christ suffered in the wilderness before he came out and entered his ministry, changed the world in 3.5 years. So, in the hardest part of our narratives, we get to see God's greatest work. And these changes happened in our stories. And they also change the ending of our stories. So, as we overcome the shame, we accept forgiveness, and we use our stories to help others, we can find freedom from the past and learn to live in the restoration of the present. So, I love the tagline on her book. What if your worst chapters could become your greatest victories? What if those are the moments that were the hurdles that you had to get over, get through to the other side to reveal the bigger plan, the bigger prize that's down the road? We don't know. A lot of times we try to control the outcomes, but we can't control the outcomes. That's the thing. We work so hard to try to control the outcomes when really all we can control is how we respond to those outcomes. So, when you don't like your story, check that out. I think it's a fabulous book. I'm excited to read it. I've read through just the first few chapters. I really love what she has to say. And if you purchase the audiobook version, you will get an accompanying PDF workbook to go through the book. So, highly, highly recommend this book if you're going through a season of time, or maybe you know someone who's going through a season of time and they just don't feel like they're ever going to get out of this stuck place, especially with the pandemic. We're going to get there, folks. We are getting there. It might be a slower slog than what we would like, but we're getting there. So check that book out. I'll put a link in the comments. Those of you in the VIP group, you know I'll be posting links to these so you guys can get copies of these books as well. Now, the last book that I'm going to share, I am super excited about. I have been spending the last month in the launch team for this book, been reading the advanced reader copy. The author is a business mentor and also a friend, and I love, love, love his content. So you guys know that I am a huge fan, proponent of, and I love to learn from my friend John Acuff. And so his new book, Soundtracks, is dropping on Tuesday, April 6th. You're going to be seeing me talk about this all next week because this is going to be the featured book for the month of April. Probably I'm going to start it and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll probably go into the first week of May, depending on how the discussions go. But I've been involved in the launch team for John's book. I've also been going through the course that he's offered with this book. Guys, I have to tell you, this book is a game changer. If you have, and again, in tying into this whole thought about if you don't like your story or what, a lot of times what we do and what I've learned in this book and what John is putting here is that we have soundtracks that play in our head all the time. Some of them can be great soundtracks, some of them can be bad. You know how they are. Something will trigger you and it'll, oh my God, I can't do that. Oh God, there's that person again. You know what? And we overthink things constantly. One of the quotes that John made in the book, which made me laugh, because how many of you have an issue with overthinking? Do you ever overthink things? Do you ever almost sabotage yourself with overthinking things? I know I do. I know I do. And so John talks about soundtracks. Now, I want you to think of like a song. This is one of the exercises he does in the book, and he talks about this in the book, but think of 3 songs right off the top of your head. I think I've asked you this before. Songs that mean something to you. Can you think of them? I mean, one of mine is "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees. Dun, 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 dun. Something about that song, man, just makes you walk with a certain step, right? It reminds me of my high school years. That movie came out during my high school years. So myself and some friends, we went to go see that in the movie theater. I remember it as plain as day, even though music, f- movie scenes like the one in 10 Commandments, right? And we play those back and but we hear music, we hear certain soundtracks, certain songs, and they take us right back to a memory. Maybe it's the song you danced to at your wedding. Maybe it was a favorite song of your kids that you sang together with them. Maybe it's a song of someone that reminds you of a loved one that's passed, right? Soundtracks. But we also have negative soundtracks that play in our head. Choruses that will just play over and over. So one of the quotes I loved that John talks about overthinking, he said, "Did I want to have 1,345 thoughts about if there would be adequate parking at the new restaurant I was going to? Did I want to donate an afternoon of brain space to reviewing something dumb I said to a friend 3 months ago?" How many of you have ever overthought something, right? You see a text message from someone and you're like, and especially if you haven't talked to them in a while, oh my God, they're probably trying to call me. They're probably trying to hit me up. And it just starts playing in your head over and over and over and over again, especially ones of like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Ugh, I can't start a business. I can't live stream. Who wants to see me? Right. Um, me being my age, live streaming. I mean, who really wants to listen to me ramble in the morning over coffee and talk about books and things, right? Sharing our content and overthinking. So John has put together this awesome book called Soundtracks. He's commissioned a PhD. The book is sourced with lots of data from people who John collaborated with and worked with to get the information. When he interviewed people, he interviewed 10,000 people and asked them if they had a problem with overthinking, and 99% of them said, "Oh, heck yes, that is me," right? That is me. So if that's you, you need to get a copy of this book, The Surprising Solution to Overthinking. Thoughts are something you have, not something you hone, right? And we know that our brain can get in the way, our emotions can get in the way and literally sabotage us and prevent us from moving forward into things that God has for us, right? I mean, God says, He's told us, right? You know, my favorite verse, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Yet we sabotage those plans by overthinking them. Like, we have to help God do something, or, oh no, God, that's okay. I'll take care of it, right? So, oh, queen overthinker. Yes, queen overthinker. Okay, well then, Rachel, I'm telling you, grab a copy of this book. We are going to be going through this book in my VIP book club. I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be sharing it, and then we're going to have, instead of me just talking about the book, I'm going to have some Zoom gatherings where we talk about it together. And I'm super excited about this. So you're going to be seeing me talk about this all next week. If you would like to join the book club, drop me a note in the comments here or shoot me a message here on my page, because we're going to embark on a wonderful, wonderful read through this book, because I really think it's going to help you maybe sort of replace those broken soundtracks. John literally walks us through the process of how to identify your broken soundtracks, and then how to replace them with new ones so that you can replay those new ones, and then those will help you move forward in some of the things maybe you're wanting to accomplish for this summer, right? Or just some personal goals that you have. Yes, Kelly, absolutely. So we're going to take a deeper dive. I know Kelly has been in the launch team as well, but we're going to take a deeper dive in our smaller community. John has a group of over 10,000 people who have been participating in his Overcoming Overthinking Challenge. He has almost 1,000 people in his Soundtracks course group that he's been really spending a lot of time with us, talking each week, and then doing VIP sessions where we're able to ask John questions and dive a little bit deeper. So I want to be able to help you all do that in our way, in our little group. So if you want to do that, definitely pop me a line in the comments. You'll want to join the VIP group. And how do you do that? Well, if you go, let me show you, I'll send you a link right here. If you go to this link right here, ronaeharden.com/contact, check the box for Through the Pages VIP book club. That is going to let me know that you want to join the book club, because John's book drops April 6th. So it gives you a week, guys. I'm giving you a little bit over a week to grab a copy of the book. You're definitely going to want to be a part of our group. Our group is a little smaller than John's, and hopefully we can have some really intimate conversations about how this book has changed our overthinking. I know I'm going to share, and I've taken copious notes of how it's changed some of my thought processes. I hope it does the same thing for you, and we can talk about those and encourage each other as we're trying to break some of those broken soundtracks and replace them with ones that help us move forward, especially in this Easter season, right? So you'll be seeing me talk a lot about this book. You too, Sherry? Okay, great. I'm looking forward to it. I know being in the bigger group is kind of hard. Lots of folks that are chiming in all the time. I do appreciate seeing all the encouragement, but I really think that we can have a fun time in our group. doing the same thing. So I'm going to put the link up here again for all of you that are catching the replay and you want to be a part of this. Just go to roneharden.com/contact. You can check the box for Through the Pages VIP book club. If you're already in the group, don't worry about it. You don't have to do another thing. You'll be hearing me talk about it more this next week in our group, particularly so that we can get started on this and have a wonderful time learning how to break those broken soundtracks, replace them with good ones. I've put together like a little music playlist of songs that help me. And I've also put together some songs that when I listen to them, get me going, right? I'm putting good soundtracks in. You may do that too, right? You have a workout playlist. Maybe you have a playlist you like to listen to while you're working, but while you're taking a walk, anything like that. So let me know if you would like to be a part of the VIP book club and go through this book together. All right. Guys, also, you can just shoot me a note. Let me know how you're doing. If you want to schedule some time to have a personal one-on-one coffee consultation with me, maybe you have a story to tell. Maybe you just want to find out a little bit more about how can you get started sharing your story. Well, I love to do that. That's what I do for a living. I am a freelance editor and a book writing coach. And I love helping people tell their stories, craft their stories, share their stories. And I know you have one to share with others. Don't let your story end on this earth without leaving behind a legacy, something that is a representation of who you were and your story while you were here on this lovely planet. I would love to read your story. I'd love to be a part of helping you tell your story. So if that's you, definitely let me know. And you can also catch all of the videos that I've done on my YouTube channel. So I want to encourage you to go to my YouTube channel right here, youtube.com/Ronee Harden. You can check out all of the past live broadcasts there on replay. Let me and pop some comments in. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm trying to slowly build my YouTube channel. And hopefully I'll get more people to come over there. But I love the fact that I'm able to live stream here and check in with all of my friends across all the social media platforms because after all, that's what these tools are for, right? To connect us so that we can share our stories. Guys, thanks so much for being here. As always, I love getting to spend my Saturday mornings with you, sharing coffee, talking about great things. I hope you will join me next Saturday as we get ready to celebrate Easter. So until then, guys, have a great week. Keep track of all the great stories that happen in your week. I want to hear about them next Saturday, and I'll see you back here for more from the editor's desk. All right. Take care. Have a great weekend. Aloha. And I'll see you next Saturday.